Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Who am I kidding? Welcome back, gentlemen gamers, to the final game of the night. We've got one more map to go before we are officially done with day 1 of Open Qual number 2 for SCS Season 5. Now, our next game is, well, it's going to be two teams that I'm almost entirely unfamiliar with. Kevin7 versus Le Club, who were previously Hostile Actions. I never had a chance to cast them in SCS Season 4, so I got no idea how they work.
Honestly, nor do I. I think we're going into this one pretty blind, but the one thing we do know is we are going to end up on Consulate, as you can see below us here. And the other thing that we know is both of these teams are right now sitting undefeated, both previous rounds finding a win there. So a win in round number 3 would solidify one of these teams as, you know, a team to beat going forward into day 2 and possibly day 3 as well. And going to a map like Consulate, where really things can really get shaken up a bit because it's not as staple of a map. It's not the T3 special maps that we, you know, Oregon Club, Cafe Villa, the ones that we see every single time. Honestly, Crow, I'm glad we are going to be mixing it up a bit. To see Consulate, though, the window repel simulator, some would call it, this one really could go either way, though.
Yeah, Consulate's one of those maps where we do see a lot of aggressive play. Now, Le Club, Hostile Actions, the one thing I do know about them is that they are a Frenchie squad. So, aggression is just in their blood. It's genetic at this point. Kevin7, I'm looking at the roster. There's 8 people on the roster. So I don't actually know who's going to be playing in the game.
Well, we've got our lobby being established. So we see Exod, Yeikel, Merc, Sherbillionaire. I'm assuming Sherb, but
yes.
I could be mistaken. Okay, Sherb. And then, Sherbel. And then SZ2?
That's going to suck to say.
Yes, it is.
Man.
I'm wondering if there's Sovereign. Okay, so Sovereign is SZ2. So that is what we're going to be calling SC2. If you get confused, Sovereign is that player on the side of Kevin7 over on Le Club, you know, the formerly Hostile Actions roster. You've got Limbo, Just Dom, David, Zag, and we're still waiting on that final player.
I don't quite remember who that final player is either, but hopefully as soon as we get everyone in the lobby, we can go ahead and start. Let me look at their previous records. Let's see. Overview.
Kevin7, they
can't click on the teams. Cool.
They beat Lycus 7-3 in round 1. Indiana Syndicate, the team that I hinted could be up to some pretty cool stuff, they beat them 7-2 as well. On the side of Le Club,
they beat Sleeping Giants and Ancient Ones by closer margins, though. They beat Sleeping Giants 7-4 and Ancient Ones actually in overtime. So I guess we can probably give Kevin7 the edge here. I think just based off of how close their games were. I don't know either of the teams that Le Club beat, but I do know both of the teams that Kevin7 beat as well. So in my mind, Kevin7's got the edge.
I second that absolutely. Lycus, you know, obviously a new roster experimenting with things there, so they're not as strong as they used to be. But, you know, we did talk a little bit about Indiana Syndicate. We expected them to come out pretty strong, a pretty gunning roster there. Of course, with some recent changes, shifting up that stack as well. So to see Kevin7 win both of those is definitely impressive. And obviously, Sleeping Giants, it feels like a familiar name, but I just can't picture it. In Ancient Ones, yeah, I've got no idea where they're from. But other games that are notable of teams we've been talking about, obviously Slaughterhouse Bravo, the team Burnt Turkey that they were known for the first open qualifier. They are also 2-0, taking down Floppa in round 1 and taking down Akara 7-2 in round 2. So they're looking good. Team Versity as well. Obviously, we all watched here on the mainstream as they took down Dallas Vendetta 7-5. Then they took on Team Identity and beat them 7-1. So Team Versity looking like they're going to be at the top as well. And finally, Kaioken, that's going to be Braction's team. They are also sitting at the top, undefeated, 7-2 over Noctis Project, and then 7-1 over Crystal Drip.
So, more kind of expected results. We haven't had too many like upsets so far, I don't think.
No.
I definitely expected Lycus to have a little bit of an easier time, but they are a brand new team, so it does make sense that they're having their bumps in the road. I'm eager to see what Kevin7 brings, because I mean, like we said, we know all of the players. We don't know them as a team, though. So, and as far as I know, this might just be a pickup squad. This might be something that carries on, but either way, they're new. I'm eager to see how they deal with the sometimes over-aggression that Le Club brings, but it's just there, you can't fault them for it. It's the Frenchie energy. Sometimes it just takes over. It's like an animalistic instinct to peak.
Sure.
But we do have all 10 players in the lobby, and we are going to get right into it. We have ours from both teams. Sweet Consulate. You know, we're blessed. We have not had a repeat map today, which I am very thankful for. We've had Cafe, Club, and Consulate. We got all three, like, levels. We got Clubhouse, which is more strategic. We got Cafe, which is kind of like right in the middle, and we got Consulate, a monkey map. So we get all three flavors. That's cool. Kevin7 going to be starting on the defense, so they will get the first ban. And, I mean, Thatcher. Could be a Nomad. Maybe a Hard Breach. There's the Nomad. All right, so Nomad being banned by Kevin7. One of these teams will ban Valkyrie. It is almost certain now.
Well, this is one of those maps that is, I guess, the most unique in terms of ban phase. Almost every other map, Coastline maybe can be excluded, but at least of the other 5 maps, you're going to see pretty much the same bans every single time. Thatcher being taken off the board. I know everyone at home is completely shocked, jaws on the floor for that shocking ban, but we're going to move past that one quickly and see on the defensive side. Crow, you called it. The Valkyrie is gone.
Yeah, so all the bans really standard so far. Nomad, Thatcher, Valkyrie. Maybe the last one will surprise us, You can always have hope. It'll probably just be Mira, though. It'll be real sad. Yup. Yeah. I'm sad. Standard bans all around. These are defaults on Consulate, so nothing new. Although that means, Maverick's up, Ace is up, Hibana's up. All the Hard Breachers. All 4 of them. All still on the board. Still got Maestro. You still got Pulse, an operator that some people ban. You still got Cade as well. So here's the thing. Cade, very good operator on Consulate. And no Thatcher. So you might be a little bit difficult to deal with. It'll be Cafeteria Garage, Cade's strongest site by far. Going to be first up. And of course, he'll be taken. Mozzie and Vigil as well. Never mind. Mozzie and Malusi. All right, so maybe not as aggressive as a roam as Kevin7 would like us to believe. And we've also got, so instead of Nomad, now that she's banned, Devils will pick up 0.
This is that dynamic we talked quite a bit about earlier, changing off from the Nomad. Obviously, with the Nomad ban, that's not an option here, but the difference between the Nomad and the 0 and what they bring to the table, of course, the air jabs, it's really quite simple. You slap them on the ground, and you move on and do the rest of your checklist as attackers. You wait for the defenders to go for the flank. Of course, as a defender, you hear those air jabs placed down, so you know the risks when you're working that flank. But things for 0, though, it works a bit differently. It's not simply you can slap it on the wall and leave. You need to have somebody constantly watching those cameras if, indeed, you are using those as a flank drone kind of way, right? The one benefit, of course, of obviously you're losing that manpower, allocating somebody to that role, but they don't make a sound once they're there. Obviously, quite a loud noise when they're put down initially, but the defense is going to have no idea that they're being constantly watched. There's no slight ringing sound that the air jab makes. So definitely a couple of, things you have to. It's a balancing act between those 2 operators. Sometimes on Consulate, you can even bring out a gridlock with the absence of the Nomad, but of course it will be the 0 here, and David nearly kicking things off with a kill onto Sherbal, but the Jaeger rotating away. It's actually going to be Exod, the first player to hit the floor, Zag, delivering him to the grave.
And Exod, actually, I think the only player in this lobby with Challenger League experience now off the board, but there's Sovereign with a huge double kill. Dom and David both no longer upstairs. They were the primary clear. I mean, that's your Zofia and your Ashe, your entry players who were supposed to be your star fraggers, and Sovereign just said, nope, you can't do your job. Limbo, though, is ready and waiting to actually catch Sherbold. I think rotating up yellow stairs. He was already very low on HP, so that's just the finisher. And we are still equalized, 3 versus 3. And honestly, I would say the time is on the attacker's side. They have a minute 35 to play with. And I mean, sure, you knock out some important utility on the attack in the form of the Ashe and the Zof. And so it's going to be a lot harder, well, or pretty much impossible to deal with the Melusi Banshees and the Evil Eyes. But you do have a hell of a lot of time, and you do still have your hard breach, and that's what's really important. Now, you do have a C4 still in the pocket of Yeichel, so if anyone starts using this vertical play, such as the IQ, he could certainly catch them off guard. Ace will finish up opening the breach, as whatever Electro Claw was previously covering it is now gone. Now a minute left on the board. Spot out one player behind White Van. Here's the peek coming in from above, and oh no! Distracted by the zero cam, Sovereign will get caught out by Devils. And now just like that, the tides have somewhat turned. Utility in the favor of the defense, but man count and time in the favor of Le Club.
The early aggression and early map control from Le Club has been paying them dividends, but now it actually comes to this execute. You've got Limbo pushing down yellow stairs, but the Banshee is alerting Yeichel to his position, and the Kaid is watching it close. Merc is going to be using that Evil Eye. He knows exactly where Zag is positioned, the Ace, who's now working his way in through the breach. He's going to be planting on the ladder spot there. He's now got, well, defenders, they're going to push on into the site, but Merc is actually going to be playing this passively. So is Yeichel. No push to be found, and now vertical play is everything for Devils. He's going to line up one kill. That's a double kill on the round for the zero, cutting down Merc, and Yeichel is all that remains. The vertical pressure, he is struggling to deal with that. Limbo, he's outside of yellow stairs. There's almost no way for the Kaid to make this one happen. The pings are there. He'll get one kill. He'll take down the Ace outside the breach, but Devils rounding out his triple kill and giving Le Club round number 1.
Really good stuff from Devils. The roam clear, though it looked shaky, losing 2 bodies for the price of 1 was not great from Le Club, but they were able to recover it. Not only did they find Sherbold on his retreat up yellow or back down yellow stairs, but the vertical play from Limbo, being able to use that breaching charge to open things up, and Devils playing off of the holes. All 3 of his kills coming through the floor. Really good play by the zero there. Not even using his utility, just knowing where to peek and when. So good job to him. A big triple kill. And what I really thought was going to go the way of the defense just from those first 2 picks didn't go that way. So we're going to go back on Garage, though. Sovereign's going to swap off onto the Pulse. So maybe a little less aggressive of a roam, more of a turtle on the site. You've got extra intel at your disposal now. More C4 too, so you can actually play downstairs and deny this vertical presence. What's really interesting to me is that the club are going to swap off Zofia and onto the Jackal, keep the IQ, and not play a sledge.
An odd lineup, keeping the zero as well. Both the zero and the IQ, they don't generally have their full place in the competitive spotlight, and most people would say for good reason. You're losing out of a lot of opportunities when you're bringing these operators. The Jackal as well, of course. Conflict is a map where roam is essential, where SSG initially coined their SSG style roam was on this very map. So the Jackal pick, it makes sense, but not in the overall context of this lineup, given that we are heading back to the exact same bomb site, something that Le Club probably is not going to have anticipated. Things are looking a bit rocky even before the round gets underway, just with what kind of utility that Le Club have available. Of course, you still have 6 breaching charges in addition to 3 breaching rounds from the Ashe and the IQ combined, so in the vertical play area, they should be okay. It's just about utilizing the rest of that utility and getting, once again, quick map control. The C4 from below is going to miss, and David is going to capitalize perfectly. He's going to cut down Sherbold, who's sprint challenging, I guess, on the vertical overhead destruction. That's not going to work out too well for him at all. Sovereign, though, he's got a nice shot onto Limbo. Limbo recognizes that and will find himself camera duty for the rest of the round.
So you lose your Jaeger, but you take out the IQ. Now, normally IQ, not that great with a Valkyrie ban and with the Echo nerf, but she was instrumental in finding where those Electro Claws were placed on the breach, and now that there's a Pulse in play, her impact would have been even greater, and now she's no longer available to you. You see Sovereign on the Pulse scanner, trying to see if anyone's going to attempt the piano vertical pressure, which will likely be either Dom, because you've got kind of like, you know, the mini buck shotgun, or David, who's got the breaching charges and the breaching rounds. It will be the Jackal to start things off. You can see he's very wary of that C4 presence now that the Pulse is known. David's going to start putting down some breaching charges as well to flush out Zebra, where Exod is currently playing. I'm not sure if he took out that Zero Cam, but hopefully he's learned his lesson, as last time he was distracted by the Zero Cam and ended up actually dying because he went to go shoot it instead of peeking the floor above him. Now searching for the Electro Claws to try and get this breach open. Zag is ready and waiting outside, and the hatch is reinforced as well, so unfortunately for the Jackal, won't be able to get any easy angles down there. So far, Kevin7 have wasted significantly more time. The breach has been open, but look, now instead of having a minute 20, minute and a half to play with, the club only have 40 seconds, and we're still even, and they haven't done nearly as well with the vertical play as they did in the first round.
Well, Exod is looking to get an impact here, and he will. Dom has no idea the position of the Melusi. A good play there from Exod, finding one kill, and now putting the club on the back foot here. Zag, he's going to be challenging onto Exod again, and that's going to be ill-advised, as Exod's going to pick up 2, now 3, looking for the 4th, but David says no. That's a double kill for the Ash. He's going to be pushing straight on into the bomb site, and Yeichel shuts that one on down. Crow, I think you put it perfectly during that round. The stark differences we just saw in the way that whole thing unfolded. Of course, Exod making the play there, but in round number 1, you and I both looked at the clock, looked at the players on the board, and it was a 3v3, and there was a minute 40 remaining, and vertical pressure was well underway. You and I were both like a little bit taken aback by that, by the immediate progress that Le Club was making, but this time around, they could not make that progress as quickly. The defenders, they did not allow themselves, that is, of course, allow themselves to be picked off as early as last time. They rotated back to the bomb site. Of course, losing one player, losing Sherbal wasn't ideal, but they played with the even man count, they played time, and they played the map brilliantly. Yeah,
really good stuff, especially, I mean, Exod just... And from all the positions to do that on, he does it on the middle of yellow stairs. Like, there were multiple opportunities for the club to kill him. The Jackal had no idea he was there. Yes, but the fact that you had a guy in antechamber not see the Melusi pushing up farther means he has to come back down yellow. Now your ace gets caught out, Zag dies, okay. But then Devils comes around the corner. Did Devils even fire a shot? It looked like he was like looking over towards cafeteria, and Exod peeked under him. Either way, huge play by the Melusi. Would the round have been possible for Kevin7 had he not stepped up? I would say likely, just because of how little time was remaining, and Le Club didn't really do anything about the utility in sight either. There were still Evil Eyes up, there were still Banshees up, stuff like that. But either way, now we're on lobby. Very different from the basement. A lot of this is going to be in how well the defense can hold the top floor. Well, so far, so good. Exod is literally just going to peek. He's just going to peek the antechamber window. Down goes Dom, your Jackal. Now, sure, again, Jackal, not the most utility-heavy op, but he's nice to have for roam clears, and you also lose a pair of smokes on probably the most useful site to have smokes on. Now, there is a refrag from Devils still hanging out outside. Sherbal either gets a little bit too aggressive or gets caught out on some unfortunate timing on his rotate. Either way, mute for Jackal, I'd say, you know, C4, smoke, I think that's about even.
Yeah, pretty much a perfect trade there. Obviously, the smokes, you still have 2 of them on the side of Le Club. Zag is wielding, well, was wielding two, but has now used them both, and here comes the swing in. They're going straight for this piano push. Zag is now going for the defuse plan, I believe. Coverage from David here, but no, that's going to be shut down by Yiko. Limbo's going to line one up onto Exod, but now Zag is stuck all alone, by the way, in piano with nobody there to help him out. Devils is, I'm not sure where he's covering from. I know Limbo is on the yellow stairs. Yiko is here close in bathroom and could swing. No, Zag's already on the floor. Devils has not been able to provide the coverage from outside that main double door, and Limbo is kind of stuck in an awkward position here on yellow stairs. Behind the vending machine, there isn't much he can do but stare at his down teammate and hope that he could just will him back to life, but of course that is not going to be the case. It's a 2v3, and now Le Club are clearly flustered. They don't know exactly where they should be swinging him from. Both of these attackers are separated. Limbo, he's going to spot out the head of Merc and capitalize.
The cam is up.
I have no idea how they let that happen, given that they are 2 players dead already watching that camera, but now it's Limbo and Devils in a 2v2.
Yeah, the default cam was on. I don't know how Maestro just didn't react. Maybe the call just didn't come in time, but now it's 2 separate 1v1s. 2 people upstairs, 2 people downstairs as Devil tries to challenge into bathroom where Yiko is hiding. He's being distracted by the IQ. Shotgun out though, but no, he doesn't fire! He just straight up doesn't shoot! Yiko, you gotta be faster than that, man. But luckily upstairs, his teammate's there for the refrag. Plant now going down, but no! He's got no info. He has no idea where Devils is. This round could easily be thrown away by the defense as now it's a post plant, and Devils with 3 0 cams is starting to send them out. He's got one in his back pocket. Sovereign now has to find the player outside. He'll tear down the double door and peek out. He sees Devils just for a second. It's a long-range fight, and because of the half wall, this favors the 0 massively. Now detected outside, he'll lose the fight. That's easy for Devils, and Le Club somehow, some way, are able to take round number 3 because nobody calls the position of the IQ on the default cam, and Yiko doesn't left click.
What a strange round, Crow. I mean, one question I do have is, Sovereign, he was upstairs and had the 1v1 with the IQ Limbo, which he won. Was he there the entire time, or did he rotate above? You know?
Yeah. I mean, Sovereign, like, being upstairs is all well and good, but he had no info to play off of. So it's
what doesn't make a ton of sense, because the Zag was stuck in piano, right? Limbo was of no support, no was Devil, so you're throwing away your ace and wasted 2 smokes, essentially. And then somehow what should have been an easy win for Kevin7 turned slowly into, like you mentioned, separate 1v1s. And generally, that would favor the defense, but not when one of those 1v1s is happening on the bomb site and the other is happening far away from the bomb site, or at least from piano. It was over the B bomb and meeting and connector, but because the lack of intel, the lack of Sovereign being in a position where he could actually impact the play, all of a sudden, Devils, having won his 1v1, got a free plant, and a plant on Consulate on either of these first floor bomb sites, as long as you're not going to plant it behind some random corner. You've got the entire outside of the map to utilize to your advantage. Devils did that. Sovereign had no shot. So, an interesting turn of events there, but Le Club, nonetheless, making it happen on that attack, and we are going to repeat the bomb sites again.
I mean, like we said, just to sum up that round, it was all Kevin7, and then poor communication, poor positioning, and again, Yiko. He had the shotgun out.
Yep.
It was out. He didn't shoot. Oh, that was a strange round. Hopefully not one of many. Otherwise, I might lose my mind. But Le Club, I'm sure, are very thankful for that comedy of errors. Big ups, by the way, to Limbo and Devils for being able to clutch that out. Devils now 6-1 because of that. Kevin7 are going to try again. I guess if they can repeat their success and just not toss, then hey, it's a round in the books. Shotgun out, he's going to swing, but unfortunate. Angle does not quite work out. Now, he does not lose his life, so it's whatever. No harm, no foul. the rest of the club seem like they're very, very focused on not just swinging into piano in a gambit play. They're doing their proper clear. They'll ace Bosco, so the Mute no longer safe inside a projector. He'll, I believe, drop down the hatch to safety? Where did he go? How did he get past Devils? He dropped down the hatch, even though there's someone on suicide valve. That's odd, but Sherbal, again, likely very thankful for that, as now he can play in the basement with the C4.
It appears that Le Club are equally perplexed as to the absence of the Mute, but regardless, they have moved on, taken control of the top floor, and Dom is going to cut down Exxon as well. David nearly winning that skirmish against the Maestro below. That would have been a huge pick to take, especially so early on in this round. Actually, well, not so early on anymore. I mean, 45 seconds are all that remains, and Sherbal, he goes for the solo retake flank, and Dom shuts him down. An odd decision that is once again giving Le Club the edge here. A 5v3, 30 seconds to go, and Merc, he's going to be using those Evil Eyes, and now going to be using that Alda to make this happen. Sovereign, another flank coming in from Kevin7, and another player in the grave. Critical mistakes, not playing coordinated. 15 seconds they have to hold off the remainder of this push. Here comes Zag. Toxic Babes exchange with some smokes, but David is just fragging out.
Wow.
He's going to swing on in on the R4C. Will do justice. Le Club, flawless round.
Hell, man.
I don't know what's going on, man.
Two people tried to retake upstairs with no support and no info. So first off, Le Club is pretty efficient in their top floor clear, right? I mean, sure, Devils is on the suicide balk, and you know, Sherbal makes it out like motherfucking like Houdini somehow, and then just everything falls apart. He goes, JK, here I am on Visa, and dies. And then Sovereign is like, yeah, maybe I'll do it too. Maybe if I do it, it'll work out. And spoilers, it didn't. Then you have Maestro and Smoke alone. I mean, you know, if there's any two operators you want in this 2v5, it's gonna be them. But because there's still smokes, they're able to get in the site. There's not enough time, or there's too much time for the smoke to delay. Ash just rushes through the hatch and kills both. So
sometimes, I mean, the situation calls for the Ash monkey swings, and
you know, it really
I mean,
does.
David delivered. He did it.
Sometimes it really does. You're right. Gosh, damn it, the chat's all in French.
That
no,
happens.
so here comes the English. All right.
That happens when hostile actions are now Le Club.
Earlier,
Yeah.
we had like peeps and hypers just talking in the worst language. No, I'm kidding. I prefer French over Spanish, actually. French is still pretty awful, but not as bad as Spanish.
Brutal. Well,
ooh, Latin-based languages.
We are going back to the basement site. It's garage and cafeteria. The focus of round number 5. This is a site that has gone both ways. Le Club taking the first round, but Kevin7 finding the adaptations in the following. But this time, it seems that Le Club are changing things up a little bit. We're not seeing the methodical top-down clear that they've displayed several times now. It's going to be a everybody bunch up outside garage strategy and allow David to use that breaching round and possibly deal with the Electro Claw from above. I don't think he's dealt with it quite yet, and as a result, they've been forced to pivot around possibly and actually clear out Circle Desk, and that's going to be Sherbal, the player who needs to be cleared out, and David, who's going to be doing that very clear. Of course, there are several other players who could be assisting this, but are busy doing a couple other things. Limbo's going to rotate around and take a more direct approach to Piano, but they still haven't dealt with Sav on this top floor. He is still a vigil, ever present, and could be a serious thorn in the side of an eventual execute. Of course, this pressure in Piano is now building with little pressure from Circle now that that's been cleared on out, and Devils has not taken up the role of using his zero cams as flank watch, but he's just going to be demoted to flank watch himself, actually having not used any of those zero cams so far. perfectly tossed C4 is going to nearly kill David, but actually fully take down Limbo. But the revive is there, and David is going to cut down Exot in the meantime. A brilliant change there, and a complete 180 in that situation. But Limbo and David, both low HP. Devils taking a little bit of chip damage now, finalized by the C4 from Yikel. So this could really go either way for this execute.
And he still had all 4 SAM cams in his pocket.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing.
I think it's the way they've been playing with Zero is instead of flank watch, they've been using like 1 for flank watch and then using the rest for post plant. But they haven't actually gotten to the post plant stage on Garage just yet, with the exception of round number 1. Well, I mean, I guess they really only had 2 rounds on Garage, so I can't fault them for it that much. C4 was huge though, so even if they do get the plant, they won't get free intel, but it's Garage. I mean, how much free intel do you really need on a post plant on this site? Vigil is still upstairs, but David is going to take out Sherbil. There's the kill from the Vigil. He's actually inside a piano, able to get a shot onto the breach. Now he's worried about that flank from Yellow. Here comes the Thermite. He's finished off by Merc, but unfortunately he'll sprint right into the waiting arms of David. Limbo and David both barely any HP. There's only 2 seconds left, and the Sledge is... He was rotating from where?
Yeah, he was out of time at that point, but I have no idea where he's coming from.
He wasn't piano, because that's where the Vigil was.
Huh.
Where did he come from?
That's a situation of not even bad post-plant positioning, it's time for the plant positioning. I mean, if you're gonna go for the plant, you have your face buried in the dirt for 7 seconds. You need at least 1 player covering the primary angle, but it's Garage. There's 100 places a defender could swing from. And then, because the Vigil was upstairs, the Ash, that was David, had to fully change his course of action and deal with that immediately. Of course he did. Of course, 1 kill was found before then, but while David did do that, where was the Sledge the entire time? A perplexing thought, one that we don't have an answer for, but one that has allowed now Kevin7 to take another successful Garage defense, now going for the interesting pick, heading upstairs to the window repel simulator bomb site itself of console and meeting room.
This site sucks. Ooh.
This used to be the site of choice, right? It used to be, I think, the most popular site on this entire map at the highest level of Siege. But because people have realized that the windows exist and that they can shoot from said windows, to avoid this site completely in favor of the split bomb site, what do you think makes that one better than this one? Aside from simply window repel simulator.
Instead of playing window repel simulator, you can play it a hell of a lot safer and just play the minefield. And, I mean, it's honestly, like, there's not a lot of reason other than the fact that the top floor just sucks to deal with as a defender. Now, it looks like we might not see as much of that, because it looks like we're having an admin take from Le Club. So, you know, they do actually have to get into the building to do this. But, who knows? I might switch it up. Exot is now evacuating his position inside of paper as the attackers swing into admin itself, and Dom will move over towards the front desk. You got Devils on Suicide Balk yet again, ready to contest player in Bosco, who I believe is Yikel. Certainly make a lot of sense if it's Yikel. Yes, indeed is. So, it's a standard admin take from the club. What else is there to say? Sovereign's below, though. Potentially find a C4 kill.
Yeah, that could be pretty big. We're not seeing the pulse utilized like we might, but we still do see those C4s. Yikel, he's just gonna fry Devils on the Suicide Balcony. Doesn't even matter that you should never ever be swinging that balcony ever from Bosco. He's gonna do it and win. Somehow with the SMG-11, the C4 from Sovereign is gonna take down the ace. Goodbye, Zag, and probably goodbye Le Club hopes in winning this round. You have David, of course. He's been fragging out with 8 kills now. Dom and Limbo as well. But without the hard breach here, you are going to be in a very tough position. Sherbil nearly caught out Limbo there. Limbo's going to present himself to the angle 2 more times, but Sherbil is going to remain unable to click left click And, well, he'll rotate away and maybe make his impact felt in a different presence later. Nope. Well, no, he won't be doing that at all. David is going to silence him and silence me, and that's going to turn things a little bit more achievable here. Yiko being fully pressured from the balcony here. His table is completely gone, but he refuses to budge.
Yeah, he's just going to keep gassing out this doorway, and he's certainly happy to. The upside down from the Zofia could find him, but she'll just keep missing her shots. Another C4 goes out, really lights the Zofia up. She is nearly dead, and there's the swing from the smoke. Deals some damage to David. In fact, downs David before he's traded out, but I don't know if there's enough time to actually pick up this down player, especially not as Exod comes in and cleans up too. It's just Limbo as he finds the trade. Pistol out looking for the kills, fishing, but there's no one to find. Only 2 seconds left, and he'll just prone behind the couch and wait out the clock. Kevin7 take round number 6 as they at least recover another round on their defense.
Well, they've secured the even 3-3 split, so nothing too terrible just yet. I mean, Consulate is one of those maps that is different in mostly the fact that it's just never played all that much, so the splits and generally how defensive side of this map can be doesn't always translate fully when you see this map actually played, because it can just be so weird for these teams to experience this map that is generally ignored in the competitive pool and for the most part hated. So to see it here and to see it go 3-3, I think both of these teams are not quite out of the woods yet, but nor are they, you know, feeling fully comfortable about their situation either. Of course, going over to the defense now, Le Club has their chance to show how they can lock this down as well, opting to do so by pulling out the Wamai and the Goyo, a pick we have not seen, I don't believe, at all from Kevin7 just yet. Instead of the Maestro, the Goyo will be in play. Now, that is generally a good pick. The Goyo is great on this site, but Maestro is probably one of the most vital operators for this bomb site, and bringing the Mute and the Wamai instead, not sure if that will work out too well.
10 seconds left.
What is with both of these teams and not bringing Sledge on Consulate of all maps? Like,
Zero, what the heck? Oh, why Zero?
I mean, I guess Zero because no Nomad, so he's kind of like that pseudo flank watch, and I mean, no, you're probably not gonna bring Gridlock on Consulate unless you're Kool-Aid. Why I don't know why they're bringing, like, or like, why were Le Club bringing IQ over Sledge? And I can't even be like, it was for the G8. He's playing Commando. And then, like, they have Buck, but why Buck over Sledge? Because you don't have nades at all. Whatsoever. Neither of these teams have been running any frag grenades on any of their setups, except for, what was it, the last, like, 2 rounds that Le Club played, where they finally brought out Sledge.
Buck does give you one thing, and it's very specific to the basement attacks. With Sledge, you have to be in piano to play vertical. But with Buck, you could theoretically play vertical from CO office the entire time. You don't actually have to. Dom is going to get a kill on a Yiko there. I think that was a run out in garage, but Exxon, he's there to capitalize and get that trade, but he's going to get cut down as well. That is a good pick there from Devils. Can't kill the down player, but he's finally going to do it. But like I was saying, when you pressure garage, you can have a Buck in console office. You can pressure down through both of those floors and do vertical that way. That is your Buck benefit. And given that he is now more skeleton key utility, that is even more powerful. But of course, you're losing out on the grenades, and there's just so much there that you're not going to have, you know, to utilize. And well, what we're seeing right now is a complete disaster for Kevin7. They are trying to establish vertical play here. They're trying to get control of this top floor to eventually get this take going. But Sherbal's still on the roof. Sovereign hasn't been able to get in CO because David is being very persistent, and Merc, he's isolated from the rest of the team, now finally supported by Sovereign for something of a yellow stairs push.
They're just giving up. They are not taking top floor at all. So, That means David is going to be able to just stick up there inside of console. Devils on yellow stairs could potentially flank Sovereign if Sovereign's not careful. They see the man under the drone hole. Down goes Zag. That is unfortunate positioning. Good capitalization there from Sovereign. As he looks to make his way into Piano along with Mahurk on the 0. He's got the diffuser. It'll be up to him to try and plant. Now, there is no Maestro, so there's not a lot of intel for these defenders to go off of as Merc starts to just stick plant pistol out for the cover, and it'll actually be successful. So, now they have the post plant established, and unfortunate timing there from David as he just turns his side to Sherbil, and now it's a 2 versus 3, make it a 1 versus 3, and just like that, it's over. Devils and Sherbil even trade Kevin7 from what looked like an impossible attack due to just the complete lack of info from the defense and the smoke falling inside a bathroom were allowed into Piano for essentially free, and Le Club just couldn't retake.
I am shocked in the way that one played out, but I guess you gotta give it up to Kevin7 for
I guess that was a
adapting.
good call.
Yeah, a great call. That was a good adaptation on the fly, not something that many teams are actually capable of doing. You need to have, first of all, someone who's willing to take charge with all the information at hand and say, listen, let's just ignore vertical. We have Piano for free. Let's just run on in from yellow. Brilliant decision. It worked out, and while the attackers had ample information to work with, the defense, they had none. Le Club had no idea what was going on, and Crow, maybe the Maestro, would have helped that effort. We talked about the lack of a Maestro early on. The Wamai was nice upstairs, the Mute was nice to have in bathroom, but no Maestro, no information, and the information game, you could say, is what cost Le Club the round, not the way that they wanted to unfold on their primary bomb site of choice. Again, mistakes there from Le Club, but you gotta give it up to Kevin7. A good change on the fly in the middle of the round, realizing the opportunity that Le Club gave them, seizing it appropriately and taking the round.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That was more on Kevin7 really getting the heads up play than on Le Club, because at the end of the day, I mean, if you just don't bring the right utility, that kind of sucks. But it's not like they had the round in the palm of their hand and they chucked it across the room. That was just
True.
they just didn't have the intel. That was just unfortunate. So, Kevin7, who I think we can both agree looked pretty weak at the very beginning of this map, now have the lead. I wonder if maybe they're just that team that, you know, they just got to get warmed up. Now they look like they're on a roll. I think they've taken, was it 3 in a row? Or is it just 2 in a row? They were down 3-1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it has been 3 in a row. So good job, Kevin7. I think we can say with confidence that they have the, what am I thinking of? Momentum. I can't believe I forgot that word. They have the momentum squarely in their corner. And now they got to attack the basement. And like you said, it looks like they want to do that thing with the buck that you can't do with Sledge. You can see they're on the roof trying to clear out this top floor. They got to deal with Limbo. But then once they do, we can see that really long angle from Sherbil come into play. As he's actually, before he does that, he's going to be doing the upside down rappel vertical onto the garage wall to get any utility off of it.
Well, David is right in Piano. He's contesting straight on this window, and a bold of a play that may have actually gone unnoticed. Everyone is too busy working their way down this checklist. What?
Did Yaikel just use all 3 of his ace charges on the same side of the wall?
He's used all 3, and that may be the case, in fact. David...
Oh, no, okay.
So one of them is muted. Okay,
Oh.
one of them is muted. That was not going to happen, but it does appear that Kevin7 may be interested in going for a full send here. Okay, finally the mute jammer is going to be dealt with, so the wall is going to be opened wide, but they haven't cleared Piano. There's no vertical coming out. That's going to most likely be Exxon's job here, or not sure. Well, he's going to return down to join his teammates on this garage push, and this could be a huge oversight if Exxon is able, or David rather, is able to capitalize on this.
Dom is also upstairs. And there's just no one there to greet them. The attackers are solely focused on rushing the breach, and I don't know how that's going to work out. You can see the angle David's playing that you highlighted. It has perfect view of this breach. They're gonna smoke off Yellow. He's gonna actually, what?
no.
He's gonna get the kill! Yeichel actually takes out the guy holding vertical, and the Mute's distracted by the players by Yellow door, so Merc finds him. It's another kill for Yeichel and one for Sherbal. The only kill the defense has was from Dom. Devils will get a second, but Exod is there from the back.
What?
He just came from security. We had our doubts. And I don't know how, but the club, despite having 5 people alive, utility left up, men upstairs, still lost that round.
Dude, Yeichel
how did
is
David
insane.
lose that? Yeichel just looked up. Dude, right, like, Yeichel looks up, right? And there's 2 people. There's one at the Yellow door and one coming down Yellow. So the Mute is like, ah, shit, I gotta kill these guys. So Merc walks into the breach and capitalizes on that. Meanwhile, you got people like, I think Sherbal kills the other guy upstairs. And like, amongst the chaos, Ash was able to just walk up side white into cafeteria and into security to flank the last guy. I mean, that looked like one of those attacks where the attackers just get way too tunnel visioned on the objective and don't do the other stuff. It's like they skip to the bottom of the checklist. But then they just, I mean, that was like they had all their bases covered and we didn't even know.
I mean, that is simply the beauty of this game on display. I mean, of course, you want to see the strat-focused game and see the way unfold, you know, piece by piece. But what we just saw there was a seemingly not impossible situation, but a highly improbable situation for Kevin7 to succeed on attack there, starting with Yeichel on he just slams David, who's playing the vertical, apparently not well at all, and just cascading in from there. I mean, clinical from Kevin7. They did indeed cover all their bases. They worked their way down some sort of checklist that we just had no idea was unfolding in front of our eyes. We're gonna, I guess, have to see how it changes up in round number 9. We're finally seeing this split bomb site for the first time in this series, and we are seeing what could be a very linear basement attack here coming out from Kevin7 right now. Sherbal, he's being pressured from above despite knowing it. David, he's going to recover from his previous shenanigans, and he's going to make the kill happen.
Apparently, according to Sherbal, I haven't been keeping track of it, but David's been smoking the Sherbillionaire pack all match, so unfortunately for Sherbal, that'll continue. David, that was a great heads-up play, identifying that the attackers are, instead of going for upstairs and tellers, going for this horizontal archives push, popping open the hatch and getting that opening kill. Now, it is pretty early, so Le Club aren't safe just yet. Still got work to do. There's a jammer, and okay, somehow that doesn't stop the drone of Exod, as David's position on Spiral is now known, but no one's actually upstairs from the attack to pressure him. They're all over by garage or trying to push into cafeteria, and I mean, it's been rather slow. It's been half the round, and they've only pushed through like half the building, and have now lost 2 bodies to David for, I mean, the price of none. Exod is going to take some damage as well as he rotates upstairs, maybe looking to hunt down this Vigil playing on Visa, because as long as he's here, I mean, there's really no chance the attackers are going to be able to push down. Only 1 minute left for Kevin7 to just do something, and they'll get a kill. Dom goes down, but it's Castle, so who cares? And there's another one for David at top Visa. He gets a 3rd as Sovereign goes down. Exod trying to find him, but he can't. Breaching charge on the hatch, looking to make his way down and surprise these defenders, but he's spotted up by the cam, so likely they'll have someone dedicated to watching that drop. Luckily, though, able to finally end David's reign of terror. It's still a 2 versus 3, only 30 seconds left. I mean, what are these attackers going to do? Well, Merc is going to get a kill on the Zag, so we're in 2v2, and actually, maybe this round isn't over just yet.
Again, Kevin7 continue to do the impossible here, but Devils lining up the head of Merc with the TCSG. That's going to leave Exxon alone with 10 seconds left to win this round. He's going to be swinging on in. He knows the position of one, but that kill's not going to land. He looks for the second, but it's not going to land either. No time to do it. He goes for the pistol. He finds one, but that kill is a little bit too late. The club finally are able to pull out some of their defensive success, and Kevin7, despite nearly being able to claw that round back from seemingly impossible situations, they will lose the round regardless.
Yeah, that was almost way too close. Too close for comfort. But being able to identify that horizontal push early, no deviation from the initial path either from the attack. David just ate up. Killed one guy from the hatch, killed two more from Visa Stairs before there was finally a response. Now, they did an okay job, Exod and Merc. They were able to find 3 picks, but unfortunately, being so separated, just, you can't trade that out. The IQ, I think, was still upstairs by the time Merc peaked and died. I mean, at that angle that Devils was playing, that's a pretty hard one to fight. So Merc going down for free. Unfortunately, Exod in no position to trade. Did his best. Did kill the Cade. Unfortunately, being stopped up by that initial engagement with the Pulse. Not hitting any of his shots because of the stupid grate on that, like, where Archives is by the servers. It was just way too much time wasted. So good job to Le Club for being able to at least secure the round and not letting it slip out of hand. We'll go back down to the garage where Kevin7 previously just absolutely demolished them.
Well, it was looking pretty good for Le Club until, like you said, the demolition force came on through. We do have a little bit of a spawn peak going on here. That's Limbo trying to make his impact felt early on and maybe be the force that can prevent Kevin7 from another miracle play, but he won't find anyone and he'll back off that angle. We've got Yikel here. He's going to be dancing up and down in a dumpster, just, you know, minding his own business there, sniffing out the trash just a little bit, but it's really going to be all about what Kevin7 elect to do this time around. Last time, it was simply a wait outside and get the garage open, send it all in, all 5 of us strategy. We did see a little bit of vertical hinted at early on by both Sherbal and Sovereign, and we might be seeing that hinted at again. We do see the Buck in play. He's going for the upside down rappel, but we're not going to be seeing, it seems, an active effort to take full map control based on this setup. It does seem that Kevin7 is itching for a very similar strategy of take. They should probably be aware of the vertical play this time around. Obviously, Yikel found the kill, but that was not something he should have won. David just wasn't quick enough on the reaction time, gave away his position, and that's kind of Sherbal's job right now. He's going to be the player allocated to watching this vertical, but he's also in a precarious position himself without any air jabs, without, you know, a gridlock or anything to stop the run out on that double door, or to stop this run out as well. Things could get quite nasty here. Limbo, oh my, narrowly missing the shots there. Not going to go for the full jump out yet, but oh, it's a play from Just Dom. He's going to cut down Exod. The play from Z is felt. Sherbal has no answer.
Surprised Sherbal wasn't able to get that refrag, so Dom, I mean, able to just get away scot-free after that. Good job being able to get that influential flank. So now, Kevin7 down there, Ash. And with a Malusi up, with a Maestro up, that's not a pick you want to give up too early, because I guarantee Exod likely hasn't used much of his utility. And because they're not bringing Sledge, bringing Buck, they don't have anything else to deal with those either, with the exception of the Zoph, which she can only deal with 2. Now, she has used them. I'm not quite sure on what. Sherbal, okay. Sherbal just walked down yellow and died, and David is there above, and he will land his shot this time. Now, it's Yikel and Merc. 2v5, breach open, but that's about all the control they got. He's going to jump in. There's the easy kill from Zag, and it's a double kill from the Mute. The club win a flawless round as they are now aware of how the attackers like to take it, and they don't let him do it again.
See, that is how round 8 should have gone. That is how it seemed like it was going. And somehow Kevin7 pulled it out. This time around, round number 10, not a shot for the attacking team. Le Club not only determined exactly where the push was coming from, but David, importantly, hit his shots. Plus, you add Zag into the mix on the vertical as well, and there is nothing that Kevin7 could really do there. That is exactly what we expected to see a couple of rounds ago, but by some miracle, it did not happen. Kevin7 definitely need to work on that garage attack. There isn't much success you're going to find if all you do is focus on the garage and 5-stack outside there. There needs to be, at the bare minimum, some element of piano control. You don't have to take full control of ante, top floor, circle desk, just take piano control. Obviously, it's easier to do that once you've got all of those other pieces of map control in your fingers as well, but most importantly, keep a player on the piano rappel or have somebody there to watch for the vertical, because there is 0 chance. And well, it should have been 0 chance, but maybe a 10% chance that...
It's because Merc's playing 0.
Oh, nice. Okay. Okay, good. Totally unintended, but there is a minimal chance that you are going to be able to get the plant down if somebody is playing vertical on you. Not something that Kevin7 learned in round number 8, despite David being there. And honestly, it makes sense why they didn't learn their lesson, but now clearly they have learned it the hard way.
I wanted to say that David was able to get those kills because this time he was a lot more vigilant, but he was playing Malusi.
Okay.
Attackers have located a bomb.
This is interesting. They're doing the not too common bottom-up take on lobby. These work sometimes, just mainly because, I mean, the piano site, not as much of the rappel heaven that upstairs is, just because it's so much easier for the defenders to challenge. You're not as safe as you are upstairs. Because, I mean, at that point, I mean, all you got to worry about is runouts. But on the middle floor site, you straight up just get peeked. So, if you're doing a bottom-up take, you're pretty much telegraphing the fact that you're going to be going for a piano. It's almost like a cocktail take, but at least in my opinion, weaker. They have control of yellow, and they've got the buck below, so this is probably why they've been bringing the buck, so they can do this kind of take. But they've got to get this guy out of bathroom, and Zag is playing this very passively.
Exactly how he should be playing this. There is no reason to challenge this angle. Just wait for Sherbil to overexpose himself or do something he shouldn't be doing. Just like this. Vaulting up on pipes and probably giving Zag the advantage in this angle. Limbo's going to take down Yeichel in the meantime. Sovereign's going to make sure to go 1 for 1, but just Dom, he's got something to say about that, and he will say goodbye to Sherbil. We've got an aggressive play now coming out from just Dom, and Merc nearly looked away at the wrong time, but it's going to be a back and forth probably for the next 10 seconds here, but the time right now is dwindling, and Dom is in a strong position to capitalize. Exod's going to take down one. David and just Dom, though, they're going to line up a double between the two of them, and that is going to leave Sovereign alone in a 1v3. He's got 30 seconds to work with. He has utility that he's now expending, but he's about to die on this swing. Here comes David, ready for the shots, nearly missing them, but he will make it happen. David shutting down Sovereign and Le Club. They go from losing 4 rounds in a row by my calculations to now winning 3 rounds back-to-back.
Yeah, it has been certainly a game of back and forth streaks from both of these teams. And now, what was previously a 2-round advantage for Kevin7, we now have map and match point from Le Club. When we go on to Archives Tellers, this is a round that started out very dominant for the defense, but nearly slipped away towards the end. Exod is going to 6th pick, probably onto, I don't know, Ash. Right?
Hopefully. Please. God, please.
Oh, wait, they're asking for a pause?
I don't know if the call got
All right,
out
he's
in
blitz.
time. So it's likely we're probably going to have a rehost here, given that the pause was called for and Exot is clearly not loading into the game in time. So he is stuck on the blitz. And seems that that will likely be the next course of action here, because we will have to wait for his computer to load. Maybe he needs that hard drive, or I mean the SSD rather. It's something that's just not happening right now for him.
Man.
You seem perplexed by this matchup, Crew. I mean, I am perplexed as well, but
Oh, wait.
you seem particularly perplexed.
We get in the game? Oh, no. Are we rehosting?
We are rehosting. We're on caster cams right now. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, no. I know, but I heard the game, like, get into the round. So, okay. All right. They are rehosting. Man. I just want to play the game. Well, not play the game. Watch the game. But yeah, this game has been really weird. A lot of like not clearing where they should be clearing. A lot of weird operator picks, like IQ over Sledge, even though Valkyrie's banned. Buck over Sledge when they're not even doing the double floor angle. Piano takes from like a bottom up piano take. This has been an odd
Weird.
one. Definitely the most unconventional of the day so far. But I mean, you know, if we're ever gonna see it, it's gonna be in quals.
And it's also going to be on Consulate, the map that just never seems to make a ton of sense. A lot of teams struggle with this map, and obviously understandable given that it has fallen out of the good graces of many teams and has, as a result, fallen out of the primary maps of choice. But it's surprising given that this map has been around so long and it has been unchanged. It's the same map that everyone knows and doesn't love all that much from back in the day. So these interesting strategies we're seeing, honestly, it's a little bit odd to see, given that there are default takes on all these sites that generally work pretty well, and the creativity that we're seeing here. I gotta say, I love the creativity. It's great to see the team's mind at work, but it's just not clicking for honestly either of these teams. The team that's coming forward with the more composed strat, tending to rely on something more basic, they're coming out on top. They're not trying to go for anything too fancy. They're not overextending any one of their players here or there, and it's working out better. And right now, the team obviously that's up ahead is Le Club, but this one has been a back and forth battle of which team is going to really get this map understood more than the other, it seems.
Yeah, the fact that we're going on to Archives Tellers now, which was up until the very end of the round, really dominant for the defense, is definitely worrying if you're a fan of Kevin7. The one thing I will say though is that not only did the end of the round come really close, they very nearly recovered it, but also it was down to a huge solo play by David. You can't always rely on those. You can't just be like, oh yeah, we'll go back to this site. David will go huge. You can't, like, that's not a strat. That just happens and gives you a round. As all of Kevin7 are on the wrong color team. All right. Thank you, Kevin7. So I feel like this is going to be a 7-5. I feel like Le Club locks it out here. Unless we see... All right, you know what? Here. If Kevin7 actually do a proper top-down Archives take, we go to OT. If they try that horizontal garage take again, it's 7-5. That's what I'm calling.
So if they push from admin and take Archives from there, they'll win it. And if they push from Archives or push from garage, they lose it.
Yeah.
All right. Consider that prediction noted. Well, in the meantime, we're waiting for our players to return to the lobby. A perfect time to talk about the other happenings in round number 3. Some notable matches. Of course, we had PDHM. They 7-4'd Amarok Orange. That is not the scoreline I don't think we expected. We expected that one to be over a bit sooner, but regardless, a good victory there for PDHM. The one match that I was interested in was Slaughterhouse Bravo. That's Team Burnt Turkey taking on Kaioken, that's Braxton's team, and that was a 7-3 victory for Slaughterhouse Bravo. So strong play there.
Burnt Turkey.
We saw Floppa take down Lulz 7-1. Other notable games. Let's see. Immense took down NSO White. Dojo Academy took down Disrupt Gaming's women's team 7-3. And nothing really else worth noting. A forfeit victory. Phantom Rose forfeit their game against Team Valet. That's how you pronounce that one?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Strike X made up for their last game by 7-0ing Team Sinister.
The 7-0 that was delivered as a result of their shenanigans over there.
Unfortunate shenanigans.
Unfortunate indeed.
It wasn't my fault, man. I didn't think that was gonna happen.
That's what they'll say.
Yeah, I will say the most surprising result I think so far is the fact that Amarok Orange took 4 rounds off of PDHM. It's probably just because PDHM again are a new team, very experienced players, very new team. So, you know, they still got some gelling to do. Of course, I love those guys. They've got Exo and Raffi, 2 of my favorite players of all time. They've even got Prompted, who was able to cast last split. They've got Wav, who I also definitely enjoyed casting last split, and I have not yet casted Subarctic, I don't think. Or no, I have, because he subbed in, but never as on like an actual team. Subarctic was actually on, I think, the original ZQWE roster on USN, who became Bruh. So that's where I know him from. So I'm really excited to cast PDHM. Challenger League, of course, until that starts, we still have SCS. Hopefully, I know we're not casting tomorrow. Maybe we can get
Ferme to let us cast day 3 because there's no one slotted in for that yet. Ferme.
and then we can get some good games there.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one and the way this one closes out. Of course, Revenge Nation, they also emerged victorious, 7-5 over Impact. So they're going to be one of your, currently there are 5 undefeated teams, but we're still waiting for the matches to continue to develop. Right now, that is PDHM, Slaughterhouse Bravo, Team Valet, Team Bill Quad, Zero Frequency, and Revenge Nation. And what could be, in just a moment, Le Club, if Kevin7 cannot find the proper answer. And everyone, just to remind you of Crow's prediction, he said that, and I'll let you take it away.
So, if they do a proper archives take, so far most of their actual proper takes have worked. If they do that, I think we go to OT. If they do that weird basement horizontal one again, though, without really clearing anything else, then they're probably going to get slapped again. It's going to be a 7-5 look club. We've also been informed from Twitch chat, who's that? Akenio TV, that this team was actually made and finalized like this morning. Or at least very, very, very recently. So the fact that they're putting up a fight against Le Club, who, albeit are not the exact same roster as Hostile Actions, still doing fairly well, I think is definitely something to look up, as, you know, these teams are undefeated. Kevin7 has taken down some tough opponents. So we're just waiting for the rest of the players to get into the lobby, making sure all of our settings are correct. We do have all 10. I believe the round history, as well as the operator bans, have been verified. So we are now just waiting for ours, and hopefully we can get the hell back in the game.
Amen. But the one thing that I do think may lean itself towards Kevin7's success is we saw that one round they attacked lobby, where they started with the initial top-down clear, gave up, ran up yellow, and got the plant down. The importance of that round, not necessarily the way it played out was all that interesting, but it showed Kevin7's ability to adapt on the fly. This is something I always like to highlight just because how important this is, how it can really separate, you know, your good teams from those better teams, from the absolute top teams out there. Your ability to pivot and adapt your strategy on the fly, not only within a round, but between the rounds as well. And so Kevin7, the obvious lesson here, the obvious lesson is let's not do the exact same take as last time because it didn't work out so well. They should be learning from that. Given what they've shown to us before, they should be able to make this one happen.
And we are back in the game. LFG. It's going to be Archives Tellers. Again, of course, they have to play the same site. They can't just be like, nope. Before the it was rehost. So we wish. It's going to be same site. I don't know if it's same ops. I don't really remember. Either
You
way,
didn't take a picture of it in your head?
I did not. I remember for me actually during the rehost, for me was like, yo, Crow, do you have the round history? And I was like, bro, I'm not taking notes. These are qual games. But I remember.
Didn't ask me, dude. I had it right in front of me.
Oh, you did have it written down? Well, because usually
Yeah.
I take like, have you seen my notes?
I have not.
I became infamous for my note taking. But I remembered it was a garage win and then a lobby win and then they went archives. So everything's.
Yeah, I know. I've got it all down. I mean, I don't know
Everything's all
where
going
the.
good.
He wasn't in my ear going, hey, give me
Wow.
your notes, man.
For me.
Now
Come on,
he
for me.
knows. Now he knows. It's fine.
That
Well,
that's an animated trail.
we got the "that's on me" call from Ferme there. I'm gonna second that one there. But we're seeing this setup unfold in a very similar way as it did last time. The Pulse being brought out, that is your staple operator of this bomb site. We do have 3 C4s instead of maybe 4 that you could see if things are getting really crazy. And we do have the Castle. That's just Dom. He's bringing those prox alarms as that secondary gadget. The one operator here on this bomb site that is not the most common on this bomb site is the Vigil, honestly, and the Kaid. You don't usually see
Yeah,
the
Cade
both
is
of them here.
weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Why is that?
I mean, I guess to make sure that Kevin7 can't just like drop down the hatch for free, right? Like maybe it's reinforced and cated off. But David, the big player and a massive reason why their last Archives defense was so successful, you got a 3K, and now he's dead. Now, something else I want to highlight on the operator picks. Vigil is uncommon if you're playing completely for the minefield. He's not as uncommon for like top-down holds like Aerial Rise and Project Neo like to employ. The fact that there is 8 is really weird, and the fact that there is both a Vigil and a Castle is kind of weird, because usually you want at least 3, usually 4 Nitro Cells on this site, but you've only got 3 because you brought Vigil and Castle. And again, I'm still trying to wrap my head around why they brought this K. Again, I think it's because they like reinforced the hallway drop so that the defenders can't just like drop down and surprise the Pulse. But I don't know if it's all that worth it.
Guess only time will tell. I mean, he does have a C4, and so he may light up the scoreboard in some way. We've got just Dom, who is very bold. He is directly contesting in tellers and picking up a kill on the Sherbil. Holy moly. That's a good shot there, and that's going to change the way this round is going to unfold. Sovereign, though, he's going to balance things back, taking down the very oddly positioned Castle, and is actually now utilizing some vertical play all the way onto Archives from Printer right now. Merc is going to be doing the same thing and has those lines of sights established as well. Exod picking up a kill onto Limbo on this push down spiral stairs here. That is going to leave Zag and Devils alone in a 2v4, and Devils missing the key shots there onto Exod. They're going to line up for him. He'll take down one. Shotgun in hand. No, that's going to be the TCSG, the shotgun, which prevails. And Devils is now in a 1v3.
Well, this is turned on its head. Kevin7 now trying to get this plant down, but without a C4 to worry about, it'll be free. Devils actually has the revolver out now, not reloading his TCSG for whatever reason. I'm not entirely sure why, but we have to rip down this castle barricade to get through, and instead, he will just opt to go upstairs. Oh, it's because he literally has no ammo. It's at 0. He can actually see the foot of that player through the drone hole, but he's not checking for it, which is super unfortunate. And, I mean, yeah, there it is. There we go. What did I say?
You said it. You
What did
predicted
I
it.
say? Top down,
I'm gonna write down-
proper Archives take,
That's 1,000
and we
crow
go to
points.
OT.
1,000 crow
Hell
points right
yeah.
there.
Where's my money? Ferme? Where's my money?
Well done. Well predicted. Kevin7 took that advice and they executed it brilliantly. They did not go for the very same hopeless vertical or horizontal, rather execute. It was a standard. All that vertical play applied from admin. There was only obviously the Vigil to contest that. The Vigil who was eliminated very swiftly in the round. And then of course Dom with his aggressive positioning in tellers. There's a reason you don't hold tellers, and Dom, well, he found a kill doing it. So he
got his pick.
He got his pick, so good for him. He went 1 for 1, and the KD isn't going to suffer that much, but the well-being of the club on Consulate may indeed begin to suffer. They are still on defense, so they are going to hopefully continue the momentum that they have had, the 3 rounds that they were able to find on the defensive half. But Kevin7, they've gone 3-3 on both of these halves as well. This could really go either way.
Yeah. Normally, you know, someone takes the side advantage, and we actually have something to go off of.
We got nothing.
You know, I will say that when Kevin7 don't do a weird take, it typically works. So I'm gonna say, I think I'm gonna put the ball. I'm gonna put the ball in their court.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
But of course we got to go down to garage. Now, garage was the one time where the weird take worked. When they actually tried clearing top down, it fell flat on its face. So they're going to have to clear. I imagine they're going to try and clear top down again. They're not going to try and go for that really risky play. So Kevin7 need to make some kind of adjustment on this roam clear if they want to be successful.
That is absolutely spot on. They need to get aggressive on this clear. They need to do it without throwing away their man advantage. And well, they need to clear. They need to clear, period. They haven't been clearing at all when they've attacked garage. And Sherbil will be starting off that clear with a pick onto David. The immediate change has been felt early on by the club. David with the bro. He is frustrated by that one clearly, and that is now going to enable Yikel and the rest of this team to just start opening up garage. That pick was huge. David can no longer be sitting on the piano vertical. That key player that has been literally the crux of this defense both times we were here is out of the game. You still have Limbo, and he is in console office right now. At any point, he can drop down and take that vertical position. Have Kevin7 learned their lesson here? Sherbil appears to have done so, but Just Dom is going to go for the run out and cut him down. Merc has also been dropped down, not quite finished off yet. It's going to be a 4v3, essentially, with the Maverick on his back. Limbo still in a position to apply vertical play. Just Dom still in a position to deny any sort of vertical clear and actually provide quite a painful yellow stairs flank. And once again, with approximately 1 minute remaining here, Kevin7 are in danger of falling into the same trap. They know where these defenders are positioned. The drone has given them that intel, but they need to do more than that. They need to take vertical. Otherwise, this is not going to go well. We see the vertical ping. We see the 3 ping up on the vigil. They know Limbo is there. Are they going to deliver?
You know, I don't know if this is going to be as successful as it was last time. They're down a man. Well, not down a man. They're at even man count, but they're certainly down an HP. Merc is significantly lit up, and Devils will finish him off. Easy as that. That's a 3 versus 4. They've only got 30 seconds to play with. Devils is dancing with death behind the white van, but he'll avoid the shots from outside by Yikel for now. You got one player kind of lined up on yellow, looking like he wants to push in. It's the Zofia of Sovereign, while Yikel chills outside the breach. Exod coming in from behind, perfectly timed stun. Good teamwork there, but both Limbo and Devils find a kill each, and they shut that down. There's the refrag onto the Maestro, but Sovereign unaware of the presence by Concrete. He's stuck in the Malusi Banshee. He's got to pick up Diffuser, and he's even got a goo mine in his foot, and thus the clock will expire. Club take round number 13. We saw a flash in the pan with that little Zofia stun Ash maneuver, but if Ash was able to kill that Maestro, I think we see a different round. I think Kevin7 win it, but because he couldn't win that fight, Devils shut down the Ash, and everything fell apart.
Bro, what? Why aren't they taking vertical control?
I really don't know.
I don't understand. This is the third time that Kevin7 specifically has attacked garage. All 3 times. All 3 vertical play killed them. In that last round, it didn't literally get the kills, but because they knew the vertical pressure was there, and they realized that by the time they realized it, they had no time to deal with it. They had to go for something else. They were not lined up for that kind of execute, and they got destroyed. I have no idea what the plan was there. That is 2 rounds in a row. For the first time, I get it. You're testing the waters. You don't know what the club are going to do, but you saw the vertical play. Sure, you won the round anyway, but you saw the vertical play. Round number 2 attacking this. They don't care. They're gonna walk right in. They all die. Shocker. This time, same exact situation. They're not going to go through their checklist. You're gonna die because of that. Every single time. Sure, sometimes you can get lucky. Sometimes Yeichel, he's going to get a crazy flick, and David is going to have a negative 2-second reaction time, but you cannot rely on that as a victory, as your path to victory. That is not a sustainable strategy, and Le Club have done a great job of punishing Kevin7 for those mistakes. Good job there from Le Club. We now have to see them change things over on attack and potentially win things out here on overtime match point.
I mean, granted, this was a site that Kevin7 were fairly successful on. I think we see max OT.
Yeah.
However, from there, Le Club, I don't think they go archives again. I think they learned their lesson. It's probably going to be lobby. When it comes to lobby, Kevin7 have been kind of hit or miss. That's a great start for Kevin7. Speaking of, David, who was phenomenal before the rehost, unfortunately, is now 0-3. And a C4 will dispatch him. Unfortunately, there's really nothing you can do about that other than don't stand on top of the C4. So you can't fault him for it. It was just unlucky timing and a great heads-up play by Sovereign, who is now 4-0. Wasn't able to win the last round, but, you know, he did his best, able to get 3 kills. Just Dom is hovering at the edge of the yellow stairs as Zag opens the doorway and actually hits his teammate there. But I definitely think Kevin7 have the capacity to win this round. I think it's already looking in their favor. I think we go to max OT, and it's again just going to depend on where Le Club go and what take Kevin7 decide to employ.
Well, the one thing Kevin7, at least in this round, don't have going for them, at least it seems so, is vertical play. They've got all 5 defenders on this basement bomb site already. Of course, one player's a little bit extended towards the archive side, but what they're now allowing is for this vertical play to just continue to rain on through, and it's going to go unpunished, at least for the time being. Sherbel's swing, that will go punished at least a little bit. 50 HP worth of damage dealt by that player there, but that's going to be Exod, who actually furthers the destruction onto this attack, cutting down Devils as well. It's going to take a little bit of chip damage there, but nothing fatal as Limbo is looking to recover that loss. Both Devils and David off the board. It's hard to really come back from such a deficit, especially without much idea of exactly where you want to approach from. Limbo is going to see the head and finally delivers it, but not before Yeichel can cut down Zag as well on the breach. There goes the ace, the smoke grenades, and the diffuser has now been dropped.
Well, like I said, Kevin7 seem like they are in winning position. Sherbel able to get the kill upstairs into Z, and now it's just Dom. He's able to down off Yeichel, but, I mean, he's got no time, no hope, 3 seconds left. Yeichel will actually be revived, so no padding the stats for the Zoth either. Kevin7 take round number 14. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to max overtime. Our final game of the night. The Club. Now on the defense, we are at a 4-4 split. Or sorry, 7-7 split. For either side. Nobody has the advantage right now. It's going to be a lobby press room defense for Le Club. They are 1-1 on this site. Kevin7, I mean, Kevin7 have tried to employ the same push twice. It worked once. It didn't work the other. Do they take the 50-50 and do the bottom up again? Or do they actually take...
You've been pretty spot on with these predictions in the last few rounds, ever since the rehost. What do you think is the win condition here for Kevin7 on the attack? If you were to say one thing they need to get underway here, obviously, let's just assume for... Yeah, I was gonna say, let's assume for... Please assume that they're not going to go from below, because that's just so weird and has had mixed results. Assuming they come from above, assuming they go for that more default strategy, who do you think comes out on top? He's thinking. He's thinking.
I mean, they've got the buck.
5 seconds to insertion.
They're gonna do the bottom up.
Yeah.
Like, they're
Attackers
just
are heading out to defuse a bomb.
they're ramming their head against the wall, and I'm not quite sure why. The only way I can see this working is if Zag inside a bathroom peeks the hatch and dies, or if Kevin7 are able to get some good repel presence / clear upstairs while the bottom floor push is going on. So yeah, they are going to be doing the same thing. It's pretty choreographed, and I'm sure Le Club, when they see the buck in the reveal phase, are expecting it at this point. They are, it looks like, are going to contest this top floor. If they can clear out the top floor, then it should be pretty much a shoo-in, because you've got that kind of vertical pinch going on, but if they die on this upstairs clear, then it's pretty much wrecks.
Yeah, the danger we're seeing right now is the possibility of too much split pressure. Of course, you know, spreading out your attacking resources is good here. And actually, Sherbal's got quite an angle onto that deployable shield outside of bathroom and actually is going to prevent Zag from playing that angle actively. Something that could be quite helpful if denying a double door plant, but David is going to kick things off in round 15, cutting down Exod again. The CO push on this top-down clear is just not working for Kevin7. You would expect to see maybe an admin-sided push, something else, not just repelling on those console office windows, but again, Exod falling to that position. Sherbal, he's again stuck in this very same position that we saw him last time. He cannot force out Zag. He's not a sledge. He doesn't have frag grenades. That is a hard floor that he cannot contest. The smoke can just sit there and wait, and the buck has to just keep on hoping that Zag is going to expose himself, and right now, Sherbal, those hopes are clearly dwindling. You do have the nades of Merc, but he's already used those. Obviously, the ping is there. They know exactly where the smoke is, but nothing can be done about it. The only thing they can do is go for an execute, something that David is going to make nearly impossible. Cutting down Yeichel, the headshot delivered, no execute in sight with 3v5 now. Kevin7 really down bad.
Yeah, things are falling apart at the seams for this attack as yet again, surprise, surprise, bottom-up pushes, they're not common for a reason. David is going to get a third kill onto Sherbal as now the buck falls prone in Z. There's another kill. Sovereign at least gets one. Is he going to get the second? Tussling with Devils on the yellow stairs. Multiple defenders bearing down on his position. And who is it but David? The man, the myth, the legend in this match to get his 4th kill of the round. Wow.
Wow.
And shut things out. 8-7 for Le Club. It went the distance. But again, the weird takes from Kevin7 not working out.
Yeah, I think you described it well. Maybe banging their heads against the wall is a little bit severe. But what else do you call a team that insists on just doing the same thing over and over again with very similar negative results? Not the best overall protocol. The club, they deserved the win in this very odd consulate that we saw unfold, but they did deserve it nonetheless, Crow.
And that made me want to tear my hair out.
Might be helpful there. You got a couple extra bits of hair there.
I do have a lot. I can actually probably just cover my entire face with here. There we go.
Nice. Very
Perfect.
nice.
Anyway, yeah, that match made me very confused for many reasons. But GG. Le Club were the better team. Kevin7 it looked like they had depth with their strategic pool, but unfortunately, doing the same thing over and over while the strategies were interesting, they were unsuccessful. And at the end of the day, I mean, that's what you want. Who cares how cool or unique the strategy is? It doesn't freaking work. I think Kickstarter used to say strats like those were cute. Because they were different, but useless, like quirky girls. So 3-0 for Le Club. They remain undefeated. And that's it. That's it for day 1. Do we have any other like notable updates?
You know, the one thing that I will say is that as we wrap things up here, SFCL, but by the time we end this stream and you actually hear me saying this, when the delay catches up, it may be over, but they're in overtime right now. That is Aggro versus the Gatekeepers. Right now, an overtime match point in the favor of Aggro, but again, it may be over by the time I'm saying this because of the delay, but make sure to check that out if it's still going on, twitch.tv/SFCL, and support our community streams. But as Crow said, that is going to do it for us here on the main SCS broadcast for day 1 of the second
Nothing
open
else,
qualifiers.
Nothing else interesting is happening. So
nothing else interesting, but we do have interesting stuff happening tomorrow and Friday. Tomorrow, you said Chief and Sticula will be casting for us for day 2, rounds 4 through 6 in these open qualifiers. And then, of course, we've got Friday coming up as well. More great caster talent, more great shenanigans to see which of these 10 teams is going to book their ticket to the closed qualifier. That's going to do it for tonight. I want to thank you all for tuning in. We hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. See you tomorrow.